in the capacity of the president of ICI for the year 2014-15. Personally, I have known him since 2006 when he invited me for a program in Bangalore in which I spoke on AS26. So in my grooming, he has been a very important person. He has been a mentor and a guide to me. C.A.K. Raghuji has been acknowledged for his international outlook and is known as a technology man. He has also served as a member of the IFAC, the highest body for the accountants. He has also represented on the NACAS as a member. NACAS, as you know, is National Advisory Committee on Accounting Standard, and NACAS was the body which was approving all the accounting standard. He's been on the board of IRDA. He's been the Audit Advisory Board and Government Accounting Standard Board, GASAB, which is constituted by Comptroller Auditor General of India. He's been a member of Quality Review Board. He's been on the Governing Council of National Foundation for Corporate Governance. He's been in the governing body of the National Institute of Public Finance and Policy. And as I said, he's widely acclaimed as a technology man. He's been credited for his path-breaking and proactive initiatives such as ICI TV, which was a unique thing, webcast and e-learning. So this webcast which we are seeing today, he's the pioneer. So today we see so much of digital transformation, but he is one of the key pillars behind this digital transformation. He's been a man behind the Cloud Campus, reading room for CA students. I believe more than 100 reading rooms were inaugurated when he was the president. ICI mobile app, ICI knowledge gateway, etc., etc. Normally I don't want to cut short the introductions because that is a way to know a person, but his achievements are huge actually. Yeah, I can go on speaking for 15 minutes, but now I don't want to come in the way. I would like to request our Honorable Past President C.A.K. Raghuji to give his insights, because during his term, NACAS was reconstituted on 18th of September 2014, and during his term, our Honorable Finance Minister, the late Shri Arun Jaitley ji, announced in the budget speech that India will move towards Ind AS mandatorily from 16-17 and voluntarily from 15-16. It was during his term that we handed over all the revised Ind AS to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So here is our luminary past president, and I would request him to kindly take us through this journey for 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever he feels comfortable. And sir, from the Accounting Standard Board side, from my chairman side, MP Vijay Kumar, my own side, from the side of the Accounting Standard Board, we are very, very thankful for you for taking out this time in this evening. Thank you very much, sir, and over to you.
Thank you, Sanjeev Bhai. Thank you, Sanjeev Bhai, for having introduced me and for all the good words of appreciation you have showered on me. Indeed, I deem it a privilege to be a part of this keynote address for this batch, the online certification course on Ind AS. I'm extremely happy to note that the Accounting Standards Board, with the chairmanship, under the chairmanship of Mr. MP Vijay Kumar and the dynamic leadership of Mr. Sanjeev Singhal, is doing an excellent job in upskilling the members. Friends, all of us are going through this pandemic, and pandemic is something that is impacting each one of us. And even though we have gone through a 6 months journey in this pandemic, the disturbing news continues. The first 3 months was all fine. You used to see on TV, you used to see the numbers, what used to happen. But slowly, when you started that your good friends, your relatives, and someone staying next to you getting hit by the pandemic, that is when you started wondering, yes, I need to be careful. I need to stay at indoors. I should not move out. I should not go to office. I should not take the metro. And that is when you have a lot of time available with you. And that is when you decide, what should I do next? I think the right thing for you to do is to upskill yourself. In fact, I wish to compliment Sanjeev Singhal, a very, very dynamic leader of the profession from the northern region. He has put in a lot of hard work, and today as a vice chairman of the Accounting Standards Board, he is steering the successful conduct of the certification courses on Ind AS, which is been a big success. Because friends, there's a huge knowledge gap. Being as a member of the Central Council, as a president of the institute, I realized that yes, members of our institute should literally start learning again all the new standards. And when we were looking at how long it would take, we were thinking it might take about 4 years or 5 years. But Sanjeev Singhal has really taken this on his shoulder. And with pandemic coming as a big advantage, they've launched these online courses, which are not only affordable, but members at the convenience can participate in these online courses and update themselves in the new financial reporting standards, what we call it as Ind AS. And I would like to compliment the entire team at the Accounting Standards Board for the good work they're doing. Because friends, without upskilling, there's no way you can survive. And in the IFRS regime, it is absolutely essential for us to learn, relearn all the standards, and put on your study cap and start preparing for all these standards as to how we used to prepare. I still remember when I did my CA in the year 1990. We had just 9 accounting standards. AS9 was the new accounting standards on revenue recognition. I remember we just got it a few months before the exam. I was very sure that I'll get a question from India's AS9, and I prepared for this. And to my good luck, there was a 20 marks question on India's, which on AS9, which helped me to get good marks in auditing. So what I mean to say, friends, is that upskilling is something very important, and I wish to congratulate and compliment each one of you for having decided to join this online certification program on Ind AS. And I'm sure at the end of the journey, at the end of the certification program, all of you will be an educated lot. You will get to know what is happening globally. You will understand the importance of these Ind AS, how it is different from the old accounting standards. And I'm sure, friends, this journey would be very fruitful, helpful to you to carry out all your audit assignments more effectively. And for people in industry, especially if you're working in big corporates, it will be very useful for you, since you will be part of the IFRS implementation team. You will help the companies towards a smooth transition, because more or less all the large size companies have come under the IFRS regime. So I think I wish to compliment all of you, and good luck to each one of you in this journey of learning. And what I would like to cover, friends, Sanjeev Singhal called me a few days back and requested me, sir, I want you to inaugurate this course. I gladly accepted it because I had so much to share with the participants. Having been through this journey, having been part of the council when we took major decisions on implementation of Ind AS, I thought it's a good opportunity for me to share with all of you. More than 150 participants are there in this particular, what you can say, certification course batch. And I thought it's a good opportunity for me to share some of my experiences in the council, and then as a president, my experience with NACAS, and how the Ministry of Corporate Affairs were convinced with our standard setting process, and how we were able to have a seamless transition from accounting standards to Ind AS. Friends, I would, before going ahead with what we did at the Institute, I would just like to give you a global picture. Having been elected as a director of the International Federation of Accountants, it's a global body of various accounting bodies around the world. India is a founding member of IFAC. I had the opportunity of serving on the board for a period of 3 years immediately after my presidentship. And I had an opportunity to interact with all the top accounting bodies in the world. And let me tell you, friends, more than 130 countries have more or less, switched over to IFRS. Or few of them are in the process of, switching over to IFRS. But the entire world, if you look at the entire world map, more than 130 countries have switched over to IFRS. IFRS is something that the entire world, the accounting profession embraced it, because there's a need for one single set of standards that could be used by all preparers of financial statements, so that what would really happen is that the users of financial statements, whether the investor is coming from Singapore or whether the investor is coming from United States of America, is able to read the financial statements more effectively. Traditionally, all the financial statements of corporates, let us say in a country like India, we used to follow the Ind AS. We used to follow the Indian GAAP. But now what is happening with IFRS coming? You have to prepare the financial statement using Ind AS, which is more or less compliant with IFRS, as a result of which investors around the world are able to read our financial statements more effectively. Today, what is happening is that we are looking at globalization of the capital markets. Today, as an investor, if you want to invest in shares of a company like Amazon, it is possible for you to invest in shares of companies around the world. So what is happening is that IFRS is becoming extremely popular around the world. Why it is becoming extremely popular around the world is that there's a need for high quality enforceable global accounting standards, and that is why IFRS has become very popular. And one big change in IFRS is that they're all principle-based set of standards, and they've been drafted lucidly by the International Accounting Standards Board. Very easy to understand. It is not at all difficult and is easy to apply. So three things are important. It's drafted well, easy to understand, and easy to apply. These three things you need to keep in mind. So absolutely, each one of you can get an assurance from my side that it will be a great learning experience to go through all these standards. And as I said earlier, the users of financial statements are no longer restricted to one country. Today, you have users, investors around the world. So let us say if you have, if an investor in Singapore has invested in the stocks of Infosys Technologies Limited, if he goes through the financial statements of Infosys Technologies, he should be able to understand and find out how the company is doing. So since investors are global, there's a need for one set of standards that are applicable to all entities around the world. So fine, that is the reason why IFRS became popular. And as you know, IFRS Foundation has taken a lot of lead in developing the standards, even though IASB has been the International Accounting Standards Board has developed these standards, but they have been issued by the IFRS Foundation. And as I told you, more than 144 jurisdictions around the globe are either required or permitted to use IFRS for most of their entities. And we find that this trend is increasing. And over the years, we will find more and more countries joining the IFRS bandwagon. And Institute of Chartered Accountants of India decided that yes, we should not be left behind in any fashion. We should try to see how best we are able to, align ourselves with what is happening globally. And that is when the council took a decision. Council of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India took a decision that yes, there's a need for us to converge, because some of the countries like Pakistan decided to adopt the IFRS. Adoption and the biggest difference between adoption and the biggest decision between adoption and convergence is that in adoption you don't make any changes overnight. You decide, let us adopt the IFRS. But India took a cautious approach, a conservative approach. We said India is a large country. There are so many millions of investors. Today, India is growing fast. It's an economy that everyone is looking keenly. So we decided that we should not adopt the IFRS, but we should converge. Convergence is a process where we convert our existing standards to IFRS. We have certain carve-outs. Carve-outs are something which we say that if some of our standards are not in tune with what has been stated by the IFRS Foundation, we call it as a carve-out. And let me tell you, friends, the carve-outs are very limited. I will just take you through. We have just about 8 carve-outs that which in a period of next 1 or 2 years, I'm sure we can say that we are fully converged. So basically, the Accounting Standards Board of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is the standard setter in our country. The Accounting Standards Board, since all of you have read the accounting standards during your CA curriculum, I think all of us know the quality of the accounting standard. We have a robust standard setting process. We have representatives from the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Securities Exchange Board of India, Reserve Bank of India. We have from the IRDA. We have a panel of experts in accounting standards, the council members who are involved in the standard setting process. We have a robust standard setting process. Once the standard is set by the board, it is approved by the Accounting Standards Board, then it goes to the council. When it goes to the council, it is exposed to the members. Members give their comments, public, and after it's exposed to the members and general public, we receive the comments. The comments are considered very carefully by the Accounting Standards Board, and wherever the comments are relevant, changes are made, and again the standards are approved by the council, and then finally it is notified by the government. So we have a robust standard setting process. And let me tell you, friends, Sanjeev Singhal has been instrumental in setting up a lot of new standards. I've personally seen him for the last about 15 years. He has authored many books on accounting standards. The kind of knowledge, what he has demonstrated, the kind of contribution, what he has done for the Institute is immense. And I would like to compliment and congratulate him. And today, as a council member, he is not only involved in the standard setting process, he is involved in evangelizing, trying to see how best the members of our profession get to know more about the new reporting standards. Friends, the current status, as Sanjeev Singhal rightly said, is that all our the accounting standards, we call it as Ind AS. Rather than calling it IFRS, the council took a decision. Let's call it as Ind AS. As of today, only 8 carve-outs are there. And in the year 2015, 39 Ind AS was notified by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. That is what Sanjeev Singhal was saying, that when I was the president of the institute, I had the opportunity of trying to see that whatever best support we had to give to Nakas, we were able to provide to Nakas. And that is when India's started getting implemented phases. And of course, 2015-16 was a beginning year, a landmark year for IFRS adoption. It was voluntary. Then over a period of time, 2016-17, we said it will apply to large size entities, entities with a net worth of 500 crores, and unlisted entities with net worth of 500 crores or more. Then slowly 2017, 18, 19, we brought it to NBFCs and all listed companies not covered in phase 1, we brought in 17, 18, 18, 19. And in the year 1920, we found that all listed NBFCs not covered in phase 3 also was brought in. The crucial was 2021, where insurance companies and the banking companies were brought under the implementation, but for some reason, we were not able to implement in IFRS both for banks and in the insurance companies. That has been deferred for some more time. But yes, way forward, I'm sure that even the banking sector would adopt India's. I was a member on the Indian Overseas Bank as a director appointed by the Ministry of Finance from 2015 to 2018, and there we also went through what you can say India's transition, which we did from accounting standards to India's. And the reason why the banking sector has still not decided to converge to India's is that when we did a study and when we did come out with the financial statements of various banks around the country, we found that some more time and effort is required to restate the assets and liabilities. It's a huge exercise. The banking sector is having so much of what you can say peculiar accounting treatments for treatment of NPAs. So we thought it might be advisable for us to take some more time. So that has been deferred. But yes, ICAI is working hard with the Reserve Bank of India. We have a separate working group that is trying to see how best even the banking sector can adopt IFRS in the preparation of financial statements. This is as far as the banking sector is concerned. Friends, as you know, we have constant engagements, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. As I said earlier, we had NACAS. Today, we have National Financial Reporting Authority. All the standards, just for the information of members or participating in the course, the entire standard setting process happens at the Institute. The IFRS Foundation, the IASB comes out with the standards. We take the standards, try to see how best we can localize it to our requirement, and then we make all the changes and then take it to the MCA for approval. As I said, we also have representatives from all the regulators, experts, industry users as a part of this accounting standards board. And the entire process is transparent. And anyone who is interested to participate in this process can participate in, giving their comments whenever a public exposure is made. And I've seen this standard setting process the last 15 years, and I'm very convinced that we have one of the best standards setting process in the world. Many countries just adopt the IFRS, but yes, India's got a better and robust process is what I feel. And in addition to this, the Accounting Standards Board has done a lot of industry specific studies. What is telecom sector, banking, like let us say the retail sector, the manufacturing sector. The ICAI has done a lot of industry specific studies to understand the impact. They've interacted with industry representatives. They've spoken to a lot of CFOs of various companies and try to understand their problems and try to come out with solution. So we have the India's implementation committee that helps in the implementation of India's across the country. A lot of seminars, webcasts are being held. Campus training programs are conducted in Bangalore. We conducted training programs in HAL, HMD, and various other corporates. So the India's implementation committee is trying to handle the members of our profession, both in practice and industry. They're conducting campus programs, training programs for corporates who are interested in having such programs. So basically what really happens is that National Financial Reporting Authority that has been recently formulated will now take over the entire approval process. But let me tell you friends, Mr. Sanjeev Singhal has worked on NACAS. Once the entire standard setting process, NACAS examines it, very minimal changes are made in NAFRA, National Financial Reporting Authority, and you can be assured that whatever has been recommended by the Institute is more or less with small changes accepted by National Financial Reporting Authority. And then once it is approved by the National Financial Reporting Authority, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs notifies these standards. This is broadly the entire standard setting process. I felt that it is essential for all of you being participants in this course to understand the background of what is IFRS globally, what is happening globally, number one. Number two, for you to understand the standard setting process that we are following in the institute. Number three, I also wanted you to understand the transition from accounting standards to Ind AS. After having covered these three segments, the last thing which I would like to touch upon is how IFRS would be useful to you. Yes, all of you are upskilling. I fully agree with you. But finally, what is important is that what is it at the end of the certification course, once you finish your online courses, once you do your examinations, what is the benefit that you would get? Friends, I think all of you are aware, like the moment you finish the certification course, you could, have a lot of opportunities. The first benefit which I see, number one, I've identified about 8 opportunities which I see in IFRS. Number one, the immediate opportunity, what I see a lot of youngsters in the certification course, CAs who have just qualified, joining this course, I'm very happy. A lot of international opportunities for you. The moment you complete the certification course, in your profile, in your biodata, you mentioned that you've done the certification course on IFRS or Ind AS, in bracket you put as IFRS, definitely you will be employable around the country, around the world. I've traveled to various countries as a president. I've gone to Australia, I've gone to America, I've seen, countries like Africa, the Gulf region, then Singapore. There's huge demand for Indian chartered accountants with IFRS proficiency. In fact, you will be surprised to know when I went to Abu Dhabi and I had the opportunity of meeting the CFO of a very large telecom company, Etisalat. All of you would have heard of Etisalat. It's a very big telecom player, like how we have Airtel in India, Jio. He told me, Mr. Raghu, we have CFOs from almost 20 countries, from Pakistan, we have chartered account from Bangladesh, chartered account from UK. But let me tell you, Mr. Raghu, we have maximum number of CAs from India because we find the Indian CAs are the best. And we would like to appoint more and more Indian chartered accountants. That is what he had said a few years back when I met him. So there's a huge demand for Indian chartered accountants around the world. That's number one. In addition to this, if you have the knowledge of IFRS, you get a better pay package. You could be absorbed by these companies very easily, and they'll be very keen to see how best you can, get into their company. And let me tell you, friends, people who are, IFRS proficient can easily get jobs around the world. And we have MRAs with various countries, Institute of Chartered of Ireland, with England. Then we have CP Australia, Institute of Chartered of Australia and New Zealand. Absolutely, we have chapters around the world. These chapters also can help you to get jobs. But getting jobs is not a problem. But if you have the right proficiency, it's easy for you to get a job. So for the youngsters who are participating in the certification course, this will make you employable around the world. Excellent pay packages around the world. Very good living, you can say environments there, and of course you get a global exposure. And I would recommend those of you who are keen to get out of this country and get some global exposure for 4 to 5 years. Yes, this IFRS will give you the cutting edge for you to get into a job very easily. Number two opportunity which I see is valuation. The IFRS brings about fair value. You have to arrive at the fair market value of the assets and liabilities. So a lot of people having valuation expertise are required. Now, as you know, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has made it mandatory that if at all you want to value the assets of any company, you should have passed the examination of the Valuation Standards Board. So I would recommend those of you who are keen on getting into valuation, we have this specialized courses which Sanjeev will share all the details with you. And I would strongly recommend that you could take up these valuation courses so that you have the competence to value the assets and liabilities of various corporates or shares of various companies. Then coming to the third opportunity which I see is that if let us say you don't want to go abroad, but let us say you're working in a company, let us say you're working in a company like Infosys or working in a company like Wipro, because I come from a city like Bangalore, we have a lot of technology companies that are adopting IFRS. I see a lot of CFOs calling me up and telling me, Mr. Raghu, do you have any chartered account with IFRS proficiency? I see that if you do not want to go abroad, fine, but this IFRS knowledge will help you to move up the ladder. Let us say you're working as a finance manager. Let us say you have done this certification course on IFRS. Then once you pitch into your CFO, tell him, sir, I've done this course, I've got this proficiency. There's an opportunity for you to move ahead in the ladder in the finance department. So I see it as a career opportunity for chartered accountants working in India. Many companies in India are having inadequate chartered account with IFRS proficiency. Even in the public sector, we don't have many CAs. I've worked with very many public sectors. I've seen in many banks I've also interacted with very directors of various other banks. We do not have adequate staff to help us in the India's implementation. I see a good opportunity for you even in our own country. That's number 3. Number 4, as I said, IFRS provides a gateway to global capital markets. See, today our country is looking at investments. Okay, government is looking at Make in India. It wants to encourage local talent, local entrepreneurs. Then all of us have seen how a public issue like the recent public issues have been such a big success, and they're quoted at astronomically high values the moment you apply for shares. So what is happening is we have investors coming not only from India, from outside the world, and IFRS provides an opportunity for you to get investors from outside the country also. So I see that it's a gateway to global capital markets. So you have investors around the world investing in our companies because of the fact that India is following IFRS. So I see that is one big opportunity. The capital markets can grow, the market capitalization can increase, and that's how I see IFRS will be a very big game changer for the company. Number 5, consulting opportunities. Consultants. Let us say people like Sanjeev Singhal. He is an expert in India. Many companies would like to take his advice. He could act as a consultant to them to see that they are able to have a smooth transition from their normal accounting standards to India's, and he can guide them and support them. So a lot of chartered accountants can become good consultants once they do the certification program. So if you are a practicing chartered accountant, let us say in Pune, let us say in Bangalore, or let us say in Ahmedabad, you have your own practice. If you are having this knowledge of IFRS through certification course, you could offer consulting services to various corporates in helping them to migrate to IFRS. I've seen a lot of chartered accountants doing extremely well in a city like Bangalore, and there's a great consulting opportunity. Number 6, number 7, training opportunities. Like many chartered accountants are keen to train. Sanjeev Singhal himself is a good trainer. There's number of training opportunities. Let us say the certification course itself, I was seeing the program, more than 10 to 12 speakers are there. And I'm at the governing council of a management institute in Bangalore, which has an MBA program, very popular MBA program known as ISBR. We are looking at faculties who can train our students in IFRS. So management institutes, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, many colleges, MCOM colleges, BCom colleges are looking at chartered accountants who can train the students on IFRS. There's a huge training opportunity. And if you're good at speaking, if you've got a good body language, voice modulation, you could launch your online courses, and you will have people subscribing, and you can, earn a lot of money also. So there are plenty of training opportunities in IFRS. And Sanjeev, coming from the Big Four, will appreciate that, yes, training is one big opportunity for chartered accountant. Lastly, the certification courses will give you an edge over others. What I mean to say is that once you do the certification course, the knowledge of yours would improve so much. You'll be able to sort of very effectively carry out the audits of various companies. You'll be able to guide companies in their transiting to IFRS. And yes, you could be a global consultant. These are some of the thoughts which I thought I would share with you. And I'm sure this certification program will be useful to all of you. And once you finish this course, I think the Sanjeev Singhal would permit you to use it on your visiting card along with your, if I'm not mistaken, Sanjeev, the code permits chartered accountants to say that you're a BCom, FCA, and if you've done your certification course on IFRS, you could mention that proudly in your visiting card to showcase to whomever you meet that, yes, you are an IFRS specialist. I wish you good luck, happy learning, and thanks to you, Sanjeev, for having invited me. And I'm sure all the participants will be immensely benefited by this program. Good luck to each one of you.
So thank you so much.